ordinance. Everyone that wants to speak will have an opportunity now to do so, but no one's there, correct?
Correct.
So are there any comments from the park commissioners?
No.
Hearing none, Ron, did we receive any written testimony?
We did not.
We didn't receive any oral, so everyone that's had a chance to be heard was given that opportunity. So we need a motion and a second to adjourn this hearing.
So moved.
Greenfield, right?
Greenfield.
Second, McHenry.
And then a roll call, please.
Wheeler? Yes. Greenfield?
Yes.
Lane? Yes. McHenry? Yes. Katira? Yes. Walsh? Yes. And Mossberger?
Yes. So the motion carried and the hearing is formally adjourned. So moving to verbal communications, Ron, anything you want to add to what you've already written in there?
No, staff and I as presented.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments about pages, 5 through 8, let's say?
Emily Lane, question.
Yep.
Is the date still the same, April 13th, or is it April 30th now that the governor changed that? On page 5?
Yeah, good catch. So I would say it's at least April 30th, but that's the date that we're using right now. So Ron, you can make that change?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously that changed after you produced this, so.
Okay. And with this is Beeler, with the grant being due in 2 weeks, is that on a hiatus as well?
No, I think that's a good question. I think we can still work through it. Laurel Tustison and I met, and they do think the U.S. or the National U.S. and Wildlife Foundation believe we might have a good project. It takes a long time to develop, but it could be worth a couple $100,000 to the park district. So we thought it would be best to just continue to go through it. I talked with Chris about it, and we thought, we don't want to maybe pass this up.
So they're still accepting grants, or they have to be time stamped with a certain time?
Yeah, April 8th or 13th. Yeah, so they did not extend it yet.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that's still going.
All right, so moving to the committees. Does finance have anything to add?
We do not, except we've been trying to work through some of the projections, working with the staff, and trying to understand the financial impact of the shutdown. And I think we'll be talking about that a little bit later, but that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, we did have, Fronts did schedule a meeting. We had it, I think, the week that we were closed, so they did have a meeting scheduled, and then we had to cancel it, so.
Parks and Beach.
We're just going to hold off. But we do want to maybe hold a conference. Actually, we want to do a remote call with them because we want to talk about some of the operations. What do we do with high lake levels and the dog beach and all that? So we're going to be talking with Corey and Jennifer and George.
Okay.
And for now, Ron, for now the beach is open.
It is open.
But we're waiting. But each day that might change. our plan is to leave it open as long as Lake Forest is open and kind of work in sync with them. For the benefit of everybody, the village is very
from a social standpoint or from a logistics standpoint? Okay.
Social.
Okay.
The village has complained to me a couple different times now. And I think there's been some issues in Lake Forest as well. So we may just find that it's easier just to close it. Facilities and programs, Nikki, anything?
Greg, I'm sorry. This is Corey McHenry. Can I just say something regarding the beach?
Yep.
I think that we should just kind of let everyone know the importance of social distancing and try to keep the beach open, because I do know a lot of neighbors that are taking walks there, and just to be able to see the water and have like a mental break from being in their families with their children, I think it's important to try to work with the community versus just saying it's easier to close it. Let's just try to keep it open, because if the sun does come out, it's nice for people to be able to walk the hill and to look out into the lake and think about the future.
Well put. And I'm going to give Kathy O'Hara your phone number so she can call you.
You know what? I agree with Corey, actually, and she can call me, too. This is Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki and Corey, this is Jennifer. I've been walking down there daily. I think people are being pretty good, and I think it really makes an impact when they see what's happened to the beach. So
I agree. I've been down there twice a day, every day.
Yeah, and there's a mental health component, so let's try to give people a place to go on their walk.
All right, so we'll try and leave it open if we can. Kind of still pending to the other communities too.
Yeah.
This is Ron. This is the one concern. The North Shore, all the North Shore directors have been talking. That everyone's all concerned about the beaches. They agree with everything that the commissioner said, how important it is. What everyone's worried about is when it does get warm out. Lake Forest had a lot of challenges. Is everyone going to feed into one beach then? And that's the major concern.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we want to close it, but that's the concern.
Well, it's interesting because I'm in Florida right now, and they had this meeting on Monday. They were discussing the same thing, and they said the problem with communities closing their beaches is then everyone's going to flee and go to the one beach that's open. So it is better to stay open if Lake Forest can be on the same page as us. It would be nice if we both could stay open.
Right.
I think we should both be open or both be closed.
Charge non-residents a premium for going down there.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And just so you know where I'm at, the beach is open, and people are walking it every day. So all the beaches aren't closed, and they're keeping it open for that purpose, so people can exercise and have a mental health break from being inside.
I get it, but Florida's also not on lockdown.
No, it's true.
Right. And the golf courses in Florida are generally open.
Yeah.
And tennis is open and pickleball is open. I'm looking at it right now as we speak. Lots of pickleball, lots of tennis going on here.
So I hear all the comments. We'll do our best to keep it open, and Ron is talking with Lake Forest every day about that. So, they were threatening to close it today, and they did not. So I guess that's good news.
Good.
Friends of the Parks, we can skip that. Any commissioner comments for things we're not going to be talking about later?
I think, do we skip over Parks and Rec, Facilities and Rec?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
That's okay. We had 2 meetings since the last board meeting. They were kind of big.
Pardon? Oh, I think it was my own feedback, sorry. So we had 2 meetings to discuss racket strategy and really kind of do an in-depth analysis of alternatives. And I think we all kind of decided that, you know, between the 2 meetings themselves, that something needs to change. And so I don't know if anyone has had a chance to look. I think the packet goes out to everyone, but there was an option 2, which we were going to recommend to the board. Can I still go ahead and do that today? Can we do that today? Is that part of this meeting, or should we, you know, is everything just kind of pausing at this point? I don't know where to go with this.
Yep. So it is in the packet, and the amendment that I made to the agenda at the beginning was...
Oh, you want to wait? You want to wait?
Wait until next month on that, and we'll
Okay.
explain it when we get into the executive session.
Okay.
So just tabling it for 1 month.
Okay. So just, we've had, you know, 2 meetings, done a lot of in-depth strategy, looking at a lot of numbers, looking at a lot of things, and, you know, hoping to move forward at some point on it. Just leave it at there,
Yeah.
at that.
And I think we're going in the right direction there, so thank you for all that work.
This is Emily. I just want to say that I really appreciate the Park District putting social media workouts for people to do. We've actually done it as a family at my home, and I think that's a great idea to keep promoting health and wellness at home and having those provided to, you know, everybody, to the community. So I want to say good job to the Park District for doing that.
We did one as well, and it was not easy. So I think that's great, too. Commissioner comments, President's report. I don't have a President's report. So moving into finance. You know, it's kind of hard to talk about financials. As Franz said, we're spending a lot of time kind of modeling out what the next 2 months are going to look like. A lot of the stuff's a moving target right now. So does anyone have questions or comments? I don't know that we need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the last 2 months. It's really looking forward that we need to worry about.
Yeah, I agree completely with that.
Anyone have anything they want to address in what was presented here? So if not, can I get a motion from someone to accept the financial report?
So moved. Greenfield.
Second, Lane.
Roll call, please.
Bill,
Yes.
Greenfield,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
McHenry, yes, Patilla, yes,
Yes.
and Mossberger.
Yes. All right, the purchase cards, Ron, are these all in order?
Yeah, they are, and you'll probably start to see the next 2 months substantially lower, so.
Yeah, I would think so. We get a motion to ratify the payments, please?
So moved, McHenry.
Second, Welch.
Roll call?
Wheeler,
Yes.
Greenfield,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
McHenry, yes, Patera,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Mossberger.
Yeah. All right, we've got some minutes in here. I reviewed and thought they looked fine. Did anyone have any changes they wanted to make to them? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of both the regular board meeting and the special committee of the whole meeting from February 24th?
So moved.
Second, McHenry.
who's the first one?
Well, sorry.
Okay,
well,
that's okay.
sorry.
That's okay, Nikki.
Got it.
Roll call, please.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Greenfield?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
McHenry?
Yes.
Satira?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
Mossberger?
Yeah. So moving on to consent agenda. Ron, when you have things in consent agenda, do you approve these in bulk, or do you go through each one of them?
No, you could actually say, I approve the items, or make a motion to approve the items A through H would be fine. I know Commissioner Walsh, you usually abstain with one of them, or I would just abstain, unless you want to pull any particular item out. But you can make the motion second, and then if there's one item that you want to talk about in general, we can. But you can group it A through H.
Does anyone object to us doing that? Is there anything in here people want to spend some time on? I'm going to page through it as I ask that question. Ron, is the charge for the audit, Mary, is that the normal number?
That is the normal number, and we have a contract with them, a 3-year contract. So,
Okay. Ordinance. This environmental report card, is that, I don't remember seeing that before.
no, it was maybe 3 years ago, Chris, right before your time. So it's just something that is part of our accreditation process. And so it comes every 3 years. Might have been right before. It was like March before you joined.
Okay. Personnel policy, these are all in reaction to the legalization of marijuana.
That is correct. And all the items are related to maybe items that were brought to our attention. And so when we spoke with the attorney, whether it's Paderma or corporate counsel, they recommended changes immediately.
And that's the same thing with the social media comments?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the grant that's in here, were there, other than the money that you're spending on Laurel, were there dollars involved in submitting the application?
None.
Okay. So, given all that, I'm fine with this stuff. Does anyone else have anything to add or that they want covered separately? And if not, if I could get a motion to approve items A through H listed in the consent agenda.
Can we do A separately from B through H, just so I can be in on the rest of them? Is that okay?
So if I could get a motion to approve item A only on the consent agenda, so the invoice schedule for ACH payments for February.
So moved. Greenfield?
Lane, second.
Roll call, please.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Greenfield?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
McHenry?
Yes.
Satira?
Yes.
Walsh?
Abstain due to a relationship with a vendor on the list.
Mossberger?
Yes. So then can I get an additional motion to approve items B through H in the consent agenda?
So moved. Walsh, Shapiro.
Okay.
Second, Greenfield?
Sorry. Roll call, please.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Greenfield?
Yes.
Lane,
Yes?
McHenry,
Yes?
Satara,
Yes?
Walsh,
Yes.
Luckbarger.
Yeah. Okay, so moving to new business action items. Ron, it didn't really look like there was an action item in here, but did you want to give us an update on kind of where we are with the closing of various things? We just talked about the beach. Is there anything else that remains open
Yeah,
other than park?
Yeah, it's a good, thank you. And by the way, this, for everyone, this is being recorded and we'll be putting, it's just showing the actual speakerphone right now, or video camera, but some people requested to hear what's going on, so I think this would be a good time to explain some of the closures. The one in particular was the golf course. I pulled the board. There was an approval by the Department of Commerce that said that you could golf, and then there was a lot of confusion around that, and IAPD, which is your the Board Members Association, followed up with the governor, and then the governor did a press release stating no, golf courses cannot be open at this time at all. So sorry for the confusion, but it was they were open, then they weren't. I will tell you, Golf Visions is concerned about opening until it feels clear enough to be able to open, and clear enough being the virus, their employees are concerned, so they want to be open, but they're thinking through all the things and getting prepared to open. So they're just trying to think of all the things. You've all provided me some great feedback, like taking out the pins or things like that, garbage cans, bathrooms, so I appreciate it, and if you see more things throughout the country, please share them with me. We're obviously waiting for the schools. I think we all know, just as of Sunday, I was working with Chris and Franz, and then the president made a change, which, so everything's kind of a moving target here, so we're waiting to see where everything's playing out. But we haven't received too many concerns from residents. The playgrounds are open. The playgrounds are closed, but walking paths are open. The village did contact me to see if we'd put some caution tape around the playgrounds. We said right now what happens when you do the caution tape, it flies all over the place, it litters. So we just said we're going to hold off on that and monitor, and staff's been going around checking frequently. And then really you have in front of you is the impact, and Jim can talk about the closure on March and the revenue piece, and then we'll later on get in about the staffing piece. Page 127 for everyone. Yes, and there is one, you know what, Jim?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically with the month of April, looking at the reduction of personnel along with supplies, we feel that for March it was going to be a loss of $43,000 in revenue, and then moving forward in April, oh, I'm sorry, did someone have a question? Oh, okay. The April general and recreation fund budget has a net deficit budget of 152 currently.
So that's a budget.
That's
that
a
was
budget.
what was budgeted.
And we're expecting,
Depending on what you decide tonight in executive session, that we, you know, with reducing a lot of expense, we can get close to offset in April.
the 152.
The 132.
The 132.
132.
Yes.
Okay, why is the 152 number in there? What is that telling me?
That was the original budgeted number for general and recreation.
For general and recreation, yeah.
So that's what we were going to lose, Chris, just when you approved, as you approved the budget, our monthly budget that we allocate.
We were to lose 152 in April. Okay. So we still plan to lose 152 in April.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not-
Based on our discussion, this is Tom. Based on our discussion today, that loss has been brought down to 145.
Okay,
Projected.
right. Okay. And then I know that you guys have put together some May numbers. As we talked about earlier, I don't think we're going to be open in May either. And if we're not, what does the May effect look like?
So the May budget in the General Recreation Fund has this is Tom again, has a deficit of $64,000. The projection in May actual is a loss of $121,000. And that's based on no revenue coming in, with the exception of a little bit for interest income and a very small amount in property tax, because normally we start receiving a little bit in May.
And that $60,000 worse than budget number, is that after any offset with employee reduced expenses?
No, that $64,000 is strictly based on the budget. The $121,000 projection is based on some staff not working.
Okay, so that is built in then.
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like for March, we're down a little. For April, we think we can manage it, and then for May, we're going to be down about 60,000.
Correct.
For budget. Okay. Could be worse, I guess, but
Yeah, some of my colleagues, probably in the millions, actually.
yeah. And I would imagine, for the benefit of everybody, capital projects right now are on hold unless something breaks and has to be replaced.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions on kind of where we are with facilities? And we'll get into the personnel side of it later, but
Chris, the only capital item that we already had that was almost in February, before I forget, is the server. And it's actually a good time to get the server done because we're just about supposed to get done this week. That was one that has to get done because everything's expiring.
So moving on to the item B under new business. So Nikki, we are taking out the actual approval for the new plan, but we did want to go ahead and reject the RFPs that we received.
Right.
So we just need a motion to reject the proposals we received from various parties.
So moved, or should I not?
Oh, you can.
No, you.
Okay, so moved, Walsh.
A second from someone?
Second. Greenfield.
Roll call, please.
Bueller,
Yes.
Greenfield,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
McHenry,
Yes.
Patera,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Mossberger.
Yes. All right, and then that item C, we'll bring that back next month. Written communication, we have none, right?
Correct.
Right, Ron?
Correct.
No other correspondence?
None.
Okay. So, looks like we're ready to move into the executive session. You need me to read this?
If you can, and then someone could make a motion.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to move into executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of an employee pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved. Greenfield.
Second, Walsh.
Roll call, please.
And that'll be at 7:04 PM.
Okay, thanks, Marcia.
Mhm. Roll call.
Yes, please.
Beeler?
Yes.
Greenfield?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
McHenry?
Yes.
Satira?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
Mossberger?
Yes.